Welcome to We Are the Table, Suzanne Hibberd.
Thank you so much for having me today, Sarah.
And look where we are.
What an amazing apartment building, nominated for several awards. Building is just beautifully crafted, amazing finishes. I work for superb developers here, and I have 3 ground floor apartments, should anyone be interested.
I love the sales pitch. But yes, we are in Cronulla.
Yeah.
It is stunning down here.
Up on the beachfront's beautiful.
Yeah, well,
Stunning.
even just the weather today. But, it's a perfect segue. Like that spiel just flat out was like, this is why I'm number one.
Oh,
And
I don't know about that.
on that note, recently announced top number one, numero uno, female agent in the country.
Oh,
Congratulations.
it's like pretty humbling, really.
But this
I just don't even my assistant Georgie said, Susie, you're number one. It's just been announced. I'm like, really? Oh, wow, that's so good. She goes, you just don't ever get that excited, do you? And I said, oh, I just know hard work and it obviously pays off.
So for the non-real estate folks who might be listening to this, and that, I get some text messages after the last couple of episodes that we've released from my friends, for instance, being like, loved it, don't understand a lot of the real estate lingo. So for those who aren't familiar with real estate, REB, being Real Estate Business, just recently announced their rankings for 2026. And Suzanne came in first for the women in the country and number 7 in New South Wales. So, but again, in New South Wales, the top female. So the 6 above you were men. And I wanted to drill down into some of those stats, if I can. So 307 listings. 307.
Yeah. I've been doing it for a long time.
But okay, so 307 listings. Your average days on market's 28 days, which are you seeing that's maybe extending out a little bit now because the market's changed?
Definitely.
Okay. You've got 1 support staff in your team. 1. And I'm going to bang on about that again in a second when I give some other figures. You've obviously been doing this for 33 years, so you've seen a lot of different markets come and go, with $482.5 million worth of volume and an average sale price of just under 3 mil. Crazy.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not that surprised by it because I don't actually. If someone said, "What's your goal this year? How many listings do you want? How many sales do you want?" I'd say, "Haven't got a clue." I am just pedal to the metal, fly by the seat of my pants. I know 2 speeds, and that is absolute flying or dead stop. There's nothing in between with me. So I don't actually set out to achieve those things each year. It's just that I am, some of my friends call me Simba because I love flying across the prairie, catching and killing. Right. So John Brooks will call me Simba. I just love the catch and kill. I love the thrill of doing deals. I am tenacious and competitive. I grew up in the western suburbs of Sydney with a mushroom farm behind me and Bankstown Airport in front of me. And my parents would say, we don't know, we love Susie, but we don't know where she came from because I'm so different to my family.
Okay.
And I've never chased money, but I've never wanted to be poor because I grew up without a lot of money either as well. So I'm used to, I want the lifestyle that I want, so I just chase it, but I don't chase the dollars. But I obviously amalgamate development sites. I do a lot of project marketing. So my figures are going to be higher than, there's some other fantastic agents that have been nominated for awards and, they may not have the benefit of doing project marketing and, development site sales. I've recently sold a site down on Cronulla Point here for just under 60 million with a guy called Greg Sharp from Sharp Development Sites. And, that's 18 apartments that have been amalgamated. It's at nearly $60 million. Obviously, those sort of sales help with my figures. I advise developers on projects and then I do project marketing like this. So I love the project marketing, but mind you, regardless of what other agents do say to people, it probably only represents 30% of my business.
Okay.
Whereas people say, oh, she does all the projects. That's, oh, you wouldn't give your house to Suzanne to sell because she just does projects. That's absolute crap, generally mentioned by male agents to vendors that I'm chasing.
Okay.
And I just think, oh, that's great because that means I'm really
they're threatened.
I'm making a difference.
Absolutely.
But there's some great women out there. I'm more humbled to be number 7 in New South Wales because the 7 men before me, all of them in the east except one's in Strathfield.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I looked at that list as well. I think one's in Manly as well.
Right.
But, yeah,
Sorry.
they're all and
out
some
of
of
St
their,
George's, Sutherland
but I'm
Shire.
going to drill into their numbers too because I think for comparative reasons, it's really important to see the difference. But okay, so Abode is your baby.
It is.
So how long ago did you start Abode?
About 25 years ago.
So you were only in real estate for a number of years before you went out on your own and opened up your own?
I was offered a job in real estate when I was an IT manager. I had 2 units before I was 21. I bought my first unit at 18, had my second unit at 20. I did a dual lock development 2 streets from here when I was 23.
Wow.
But I was offered a job in real estate and took that job on, and that was Crips and Crips, and I was certainly, very leading sales agent after 1 quarter of 3 offices.
Wow. But,
my mentor owns half of Parramatta and he's taught me everything I know. So I've always loved real estate from a young age. So it's easy to be good at something that you love.
Yes, definitely.
That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah. So you were in IT originally?
Yeah. Then I was off the job, but I owned Cronulla Real Estate back in 1996.
Wow.
So after Crips and Crips, and I always had a great relationship with David Cripps, and then I went to run the professionals at Cogra, Alloa, Brighton, Pensest. I think they had 4 offices at the time. And then I was offered the partnership at Cronulla Real Estate, which I had up to 2000. Then I worked a bit from home when I had my first baby, and not for long. I think he was 3 months old. No, I was 3 months old when I bought Cronulla Real Estate.
Oh, there you go.
3-month-old baby, I bought Cronulla Real Estate.
Crazy.
Then after I sold Cronulla Real Estate, I worked from home. Yeah, I had the timeline mixed up there a little bit. And, then I started Abode when my youngest kid was at school, and the school was at the back of my office in Caringbah.
How many kids have you got?
2. They're 6 years apart.
6 years apart.
Braith and Jessie.
And how old are they now?
One's 30 and the other, that's Jessie, he's an engineer, and Braith is taking a gap year because he's a great real estate agent.
Okay.
He was with me for 5 or 6 years, brilliant agent, did over $1 million in com the last year that he was with me, but he's on a gap year at the Gold Coast.
Lucky boy.
He's, so that's Braith. So, 6 years apart.
So how did you find running your own business whilst raising 2 young children?
Look, I think the work-life balance, why more women don't stay longer in real estate or, really do better with the amount of listings and sales they have, is the work-life balance is very difficult. You need a really strong partner to assist with that. Now, it's very well known around here that my husband has a great life. I say husband. I've actually been with him for 35 years, but we're not married.
Okay.
So I just say husband. So at the local golf club, people say, he has the best life in Cronulla.
Okay.
So he plays golf 3 times a week. He's a good golfer. But he is tremendous support. He's very laid back, very, very, very caring, great with the kids, great with when they were doing sports and things. I would get to a grand final. That's about all I'd get to,
Wow.
Whereas he's really good with all that. I think it's very difficult for women. I can't imagine what it'd be like as a single mum. It would be really tough. But you've got to have great support either from family or your partner.
Yeah, you need that village.
And I think more women would do better if there was just more support around, I suppose, for them. I think women still do predominantly most of the work at home and carry the load.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says.
No.
I'm going to say it.
Well, that's the
what
thing
happens.
I love about you as well is that you do just say it, right? And, we were on a Zoom call however many months ago it was, and your accountant was on the call and you were giving it to him in a lovely way, in a very lovely way. But was it the first time you were speaking with him, he made a comment that stuck with you?
Absolutely. It was the first time I'd been down to his office to have a meeting, and I was advising them, my accountant and several investors, on buying a very big development site. And I have been very proficient in this particular area on selling other projects. So I was advising them on the mix and orientation of apartments, mix finishes, potential gross realisation of the project. And there were several people in the room, I don't know, I remember maybe 12 or 14, and the rest were all on Zoom. And it was like we started about 6 p.m. and it was about 7:30. And then Jerry said, has anyone got any more questions for Susie? I'm sure she needs to get home and make dinner. Now, I love my accountant, but he is a bit old school with that sort of thing. And I just went, no, Jerry. If my dinner's not at home on the table when I get home, or if my dinner's not made when I get home, I didn't say expect it on the table. I think that's a bit over the top. But I said, look, if my dinner's not made for me when I get home, I'm going to be really upset because my husband doesn't work, Jerry. Well, he doesn't. He works at home.
Exactly.
But he's the home person, you know. So I'm not going home to make dinner.
Yeah, but it was just that assumption.
I know. It's just so wrong that is an assumption. Why?
Yeah. I don't know.
If the boys can be out to that time at night, why the hell can't I be?
No, exactly right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But
we need to change our thoughts.
We do need to change our thoughts.
Yeah, we do need to change our thoughts.
You know, it's changing.
I don't think that it wasn't said with any malice.
At all.
And he's a gorgeous guy, but he just didn't realise
he thought he was caring.
Yeah, he thought he was being caring.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's just how everyone else sees it on who you're saying it to. You know, so yeah,
There's still a long way to go.
There's a long way to go.
Yeah.
That's what we're speaking about, speaking.
Well,
and
because we were on that Zoom call when you brought up that comment, and I was like, well, this is why we're doing We Are the Table.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to backtrack for a second. You mentioned your mentor who is Parramatta.
Yeah.
Who's that?
That's Alan Williams. He was Alan Williams Real Estate. He owns quite a lot of real estate in that area, and he went to school with my father and pretty much taught me everything I know in real estate. But he's also tough. You know, he'd say if I ring up, he'd say, look, I'm going to come, if I ring up complaining about something, I'm going to come over there and give you a dose of mungle pills. You know, you just go and shake another tree and find some more business. Stop whining.
Oh, there you go.
Or he'd just making money is all about minimising your taxes. Don't buy anything till they're bleeding in the gutter. Roll with the punches. He's just full of these sayings. But he's wise. He's tough. He's a brilliant man. He's taught me so much.
Oh, that's lovely.
And even now, he's just in his early 80s, and I will still reach out to him and chat with him and how are you going. I probably don't seek advice from him as much as I did, but I always stay in contact with him because I love what he's done for me.
Yeah.
And he used to ring up and say, is that car 54? And I'd say, yeah. Is that car 57? So we always have these little comments about what we're doing and, and how to go about things and keep a cool head and, yeah, it's good.
So how did you end up in the Shire if you grew up out that way?
So I moved out here because my second unit I had here when I was 20 was in Cronulla.
Okay.
And then I moved out here and then, met my husband and, loved it. Always loved Cronulla. Even when
I can understand why.
Actually, I broke my foot on Cronulla Beach. I was tackled by an ex-boyfriend and broke my foot.
Was it a fun tackle?
On the beach. A fun tackle. I was, clowning around.
Okay.
And, thanks for that. I think it was Gary Nicol, actually. Thanks for that, Gary.
We're dropping names.
Yeah, but that's okay. You won't mind. But no, it was, it's, so I've always loved Cronulla. That was when I was much younger. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about the REB things again because, we touched on your figures and you mentioned, the 6 men above you on that list. Yeah. I've got their stats just for comparative reasons. So number 1 is obviously Alex Phillips.
Absolute
legend, phenomenal operator. 247 listings compared to your 307. He's got 4 support staff with an average sale price of 4.9 million. So there's a significant difference there. The 4 support staff versus your 1 as well. Now we've got Michael Clark. He's Manly. 191 listings, 3 support staff, 4.77 million average sale price. Then we've got a couple of the guys from Sotheby's, James Ball and Macleay, 141 and 140 listings respectively. 5 support staff James Ball's got. Macleay's got 6. Both of their average sale prices are over 5.4 mil, so they're doing some big figures. We've got Tarun in Strathfield, 198 listings, 4 support staff, average sale price over 4 mil. And then Nick Wise with 153 listings, 7 support staff, and 13 average sale price of 3.9 mil. You have one support staff. Like I don't know about you, but if that does not scream that women can juggle so much more, like I don't know what like 7 support staff, Nick.
Sorry. Yeah, look, you know, look, I have a brilliant admin team, but they're not really my support staff.
Yeah,
my support staff is generally Daniel that I have with me or Ange, but I have a very strong admin team. I think that is.
But they service your whole office.
They do. They service the whole office.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember, I do 90% of the listings and sales in my office. Mm-hmm. So although I've got several other agents, debit, credit, and contractors, I bring in 90% of the figures.
Okay.
So the admin team are really Team Susie, but certainly my rest of my team, a lot of them have been with me for a long time. Ingrid and Pete have been with me over 20 years.
Wow.
Dax has been with me about 12 years. And my team know that, you know, they service everybody equally, but Team Susie's got a lot going on. So,
yeah.
But it's really important, I think, to have a really strong admin team, marketing team in the office. But, you know, I don't like letting my owners down. So tomorrow I have 14 open houses.
Okay.
And 2 private appointments.
And you're doing all of them?
I will go to all of them.
Wow.
Yep. Now, do I stay at all of them? No, I drop in and I leave, but I update my owners.
There's not enough time in the day.
No, there's not enough time in the day. And obviously that's dragged out a little bit now because the market's as tough as the GFC, if not tougher.
Okay.
It really is. There's an absolute I know when I'm speaking to other agents in other areas, we have very low absorption rate of buyers in the Shire. We have much higher number of buyers in the St. George area. Like my big Coles at Ramsgate Beach, which is, you know, those projects, they're like my babies, you know. I love those. And when I no longer go back to the building, like when I've sold the last one here, I'll actually have a tear in my eye.
Oh.
I'll be like, can I come over and have a coffee with somebody?
Yeah.
Or a champagne, because I'm going to miss coming to the building. But, you know, it's our absorption rates are really low here. Okay. So we have inquiries at the moment. We've got properties that are not getting an inquiry for a week.
Wow.
And we're trying to do everything we can to draw as much inquiry as we possibly can, try to look for buyers, not just wait for them to come, going back to basics, making lots of phone calls. But, you know, my owners expect me to be there. And I take my hat off to the other men, you know, Alexander Phillips and the other men on the list, you know, because and the other women, because I haven't mastered that. I just have all these
delegation
assistants that rock up and I'm not there. My owners, when I list a property, are like, I was there this morning, 8:00 in the office this morning. My owner said to me, Suzanne, now I've met this person on your team, but I'm dealing with you, aren't I? So they are very much about wanting me, and I don't like to let people down, so I'm definitely going to be there.
It's actually really, that's something that's super important. When my husband and I sold a place a couple of years ago, we only had 2 opens. You know, the market was pretty pumping at the time, and the selling agent that we'd engaged didn't attend either open. And now that's not to say that we weren't very impressed with him at the end. Like, you know, he really showed his strengths when it came time to negotiating. But prior to that point, I was like,
Where is he?
What do you mean? Like, you know, we weren't living in it. We'd had to move out so that we could style it to try to sell it. So I don't know whether he just assumed, because they're not there, you know, but we lived in the complex. I was keeping a close eye. And I had other agents write to me saying, do you know so-and-so doesn't do your opens? Which I didn't like. I didn't like that about the industry, that everyone's very quick to, you know, try to pull each other down.
Yeah.
Do you find that's the case here?
I despise it.
Yeah.
I absolutely, if I go for a market appraisal, I do not ask the vendor what other agents are getting in there. Okay. It's a loaded question. I think it's dirty. But I do forewarn them that if another agent asks who you're having in and you suggest it's Suzanne, they're going to say to you, Suzanne's got too many listings.
Okay.
And let me tell you about that.
Yeah.
And then I just cover that. Good. And, mate, as soon as that comes up, that client's sitting there thinking, red flag, Suzanne told us this would happen. We don't actually like the fact that it's been brought up. It has been. I wouldn't be sitting there in that lounge room if I didn't want that business. So how dare you say she's got too much on?
Yeah, they don't know.
You want something done, give it to a busy female. Because we can multitask.
We can. Absolutely.
We know it, don't we?
Especially a mum, a busy working mum.
You know, like seriously.
We absolutely can.
dragging people down is something I despise in the industry. You know, I have a holiday house and I often go down there Saturday afternoon. Some agents will say to clients, oh, you know, Suzanne has a holiday house and she goes down there a fair bit. That's atrocious. I would never discuss another agent's personal business with any vendor whatsoever. There's just no point.
So on that topic then of other agents and the industry as a whole, what is your perception of our industry and how can we improve it?
Well, I think that, you know, I get on with lots of agents and it's great that a lot of agents do have that sort of, you know, colleague mentality and professionalism and treating each other with respect. I think it's a minority that go about their business on trying to pull other people down to try to get business. And I think the general public see through it. They don't want to get into that type of, you know, conversation.
Pettiness.
You know, I say to a vendor, what are you expecting? What are you expecting from your agent? You know, what things do you see that would be very important to you? Because if you ask vendors that question, they all have different ideas about what's important to them. And I always like to ask that question. But you know when you're sitting there with the vendor, they don't like past experiences many of them have had. A lot of them do, you know, verbalise that with me. We had this happen on the last, like you just said about your experience, but we had this happen previously and, you know, we're very cautious of agents and you've been highly recommended to us. I do get a lot of, and God love all my vendors, but I do get a lot of, I call them high maintenance vendors, but I actually think that's to be commended because I love the fact that they've got high standards and high expectations because if I'm selling my property, I'm going to be exactly the same. I think, you know, more should be done with training as to, you know, agents going in, okay, all about this underquoting, right? Now, okay, buyers hate underquoting and we know it still goes on and there's laws around it and everything else. But what about agents going in there promising an owner a property's worth $7 million when it's not worth more than $6 million? Where is Fair Trading's position on looking at agents buying listings? It should be, you know, it should be looked at more intensely than it is because you're getting agents winning business by lying.
Well, on that point,
it should be
Fair Trading should be looking at it. Well, Fair Trading has got jurisdiction. I'm going to get a little bit legal now. So obviously anything I say and do cannot be relied upon. It's in informational purposes only. But there are misleading and deceptive provisions in the Property and Stock Agents Act. And there's been 2 instances in, I would say, the last 6 months where a vendor hasn't been able to sell and they've then turned around and said, well, you misled and deceived me into entering into that agency agreement. So I want all my marketing back, for instance.
Because the associated marketing could be very expensive.
And in the first instance, it did actually end up selling, but it was a commission claim. So they ended up selling with a second agent and my client, being the first agent, was entitled to commission because it occurred during an exclusive period, even though the vendor tried to get out of it. It did sell for significantly less than what the original appraisal price was, but we've had a lot of change in the market. The interest rates have gone up, whatnot. Anyway, it went to tribunal and we were successful in commission. Having said that, the tribunal did look at the misleading and deceptive argument because that was the whole crux of the argument. And they basically said, you know, we see agents saying, I've got the biggest database or my database spans here and or it encompasses these suburbs and it's got 15,000 people in it and these are the comparables and I think your place is worth that. Is that necessarily misleading and deceptive? Probably not in the scheme of everything. If the agent is able to substantiate certain
supporting
things.
evidence as to how.
Now we're doing another one at the moment. In that instance, the agent was contacted by the vendor, who said, "If you want to be in with a chance, you've got to be above this figure," because that's what other people are quoting. They got the comparables to assist in their appraisal. It was definitely overpriced. Hasn't sold, and now the vendors are kicking up a big stink. Now, in that instance, again, you've been given a direction by somebody, a younger agent as well, who probably shouldn't have sized it up at that point. I think there does definitely need to be a lot more training around dialogue and conversation, and sometimes not all business is good business.
That's right. Saying no is...
So, yeah, look, I definitely think the buying the listing is something that we're seeing vendors get a little bit more in tune
And so they
with,
should.
but it's going to come down to like a misleading and deceptive conduct argument, which isn't great, but it's also a breach of the Australian consumer law. So watch this space.
We just never see, I've lost a few listings over the last 12 months and, the listing's around $6 million and you're talking that you're $750,000 out to $1 million out of what the other agent has said. And ultimately it's sold slap bang in the opinion of what I've given. And, you were honest. I like to be able to sleep overnight, so I would prefer the honesty.
Yeah.
And, one of these vendors actually reached out to me 10 days later and said, Susie, you were right, and gave me the figure.
Wow.
The fact that the vendor reached out tells me...
Speaks volumes.
Yeah, that he knew that I was right and he may not have made the right decisions, but I just think the general public perception of agents won't change unless the agents change their behaviour. And that is, you can't win all business. Some business you shouldn't take on. I sometimes give business back. Listen, I've taken you 2 offers. You're not listening to what I'm saying. The market's changed. I don't think I can help you.
Yeah.
Sorry, with the greatest respect, there's nothing more I can do here.
Yeah.
Or you go in for a property. I went for one yesterday. The person paid $2.3 million for the property. It's flat out going to be worth that money now. And I'm like, well, yeah, this is, I said, look, I'm not going to tell you something.
I'm going to sugarcoat it.
I'm not going to. I am not known for sugarcoating. I'm always known for being very direct, and I don't mind that at all. Sometimes direct is probably I'm a bit more brutal than I probably need to, and sometimes I have people in my team that, Susie, will be the filter for that. Thank you so much. How about we handle that for you? That's wonderful because Susie's not in the mood to do that today. So, but it's I'd rather be honest with someone and say, I don't think I'd get that money. And if another agent tells you that, I'm sorry, I'd be thinking twice about what they're saying to you. Ask them for the supporting evidence. It's not there. Right? So if agents are given more training, and I love things like AREC, and I love the women in real estate that I love anything you can get to do with other people where you can learn, because it doesn't matter how many years I've been doing this job. When you get to the point where you say, well, I know that, I know everything, I can't attend that, or why would I bother? I already know that, There's something wrong with you if you've got that attitude.
Absolutely.
You should be going to work every day going, what can I learn today?
So speaking on the topic of learning, one of the things that we connected over early on was you had been engaged to speak at a conference, and for personal reasons you ended up not being able to speak at that conference. And it was a bit of a polarising conference, polarising in the sense of it was being run by a couple of gentlemen who had been in the media for whatever reason. I've got to be mindful of what I say. I don't want to be getting any letters. But after the conference happened, there was some further media attention, speaking about education and underquoting and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I said to you, you were meant to speak at that conference. You know, why
you raised
did you?
it with me,
I said, why did you when,
didn't you know this? And I'm like, sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I really did not know of the allegations that were against one party, but then I found out it was both parties. There were different allegations.
Yeah.
With both parties.
More historical things, yeah.
But look, I had personal family things that I had to take care of which involved overseas legal representation and things for my mum and her family, and I couldn't attend. But I'm really glad that you actually brought that to my attention, because I wasn't aware. But I'm also always so honoured to be asked to do that sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, you're asking me? Oh, that's lovely.
I was just, especially as someone. Like you are such a strong advocate as well for improving the standards and for women. So then when I saw you were no longer on the speaker lineup, and I said, was it because of this reason? And you had no idea of certain things. And obviously a week or two after, it was all in the media again.
Yeah.
But one of the things you said to me was that you don't get asked.
No.
And that was a big shock to me. You're number one in the bloody country. How come? Why do you think people don't know about you?
Is it because I'm a Shire and St George agent and not in other areas? I think if you look at a lot of the people that dominate the podcast, a lot of that is they interview a lot of the men, not so much the women. Though I have been asked to do another podcast.
Yay! Oh God, we're going to get our one out first,
which is great. But you see, a lot of the trailers and stuff on TikTok. A lot of it is male dominated, and I don't know why that is. I think it should change. I think women can bring a lot more to the conversation. I mean, I've obviously been on Tom Panis's panel at AREC and things like that, but I think women could be a lot more involved with AREC than what they are.
Well, that was another thing we connected over to was, there was social media commentary about, someone calling for Tom to step down as MC of AREC.
That's right. We shared a comment.
We did share a comment, but there were a lot of comments on that post, which I believe has subsequently been taken down.
Right.
But, and that post, referenced 8 other men that could step into that position.
But not one female.
Not one female.
Yeah, which is astounding.
Yeah, but do you think it's because women just don't put their hand up?
Well, I don't think they get asked to put their hand up. I mean, you've got to be able to be in that, you've got to be in that arena where you're going to say, well, listen, I'm happy to do that. I want to throw my hat in. But if you're not in the arena, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Do you go ringing people yourself saying, look, I'd like to do this for you, or I'd like to do that podcast, or I'd like to speak on that stage?
Well, women aren't comfortable doing that.
No. I have been asked to go to New Zealand in August, and they just reached out to me and said, look, we've got over 100 agents and we want you to be a keynote speaker there. And I'm like,
absolutely.
That is wonderful. Why are you reaching out to me?
Oh, why are you questioning it?
No, I said, right. No, but why did you choose me? There's some fantastic female agents in the country. Why did you choose me? And they said, Suzanne, we love that you don't sugarcoat stuff. You are just who you are. You are just transparent. We just love it. And we've watched your other podcasts,
Yeah.
We just love it that you just this catch and kill,
And you're number one.
Yeah.
Don't discount that.
But then another guy had me on a 5-minute podcast a couple of months ago, and he was asking me what sort of car do you drive, or
I'm going to ask you
what
that
sort of music do you do, or something. I'm like, Michael Bublé, are you joking? I love the Killers, mate. What is wrong with you? Mate, and he's just like, I can see you driving around. I said, oh, my God, no.
I'm going to ask you all those questions too. I want you to brag.
Once again, it's you're judged differently to the men.
And it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't be like that. And I'm not, I don't like to say that I'm not a sexist person. I just like equality,
And the men that, the majority of the men that we have in this industry are phenomenal, and they're such big supporters of us.
Brilliant.
In most instances, the mentorship that they've provided, they've opened doors, they have put our names forward in rooms when we're not there. But from a, bragging point of view, and, there's a different way to brag, right? There is the real tacky way that some agents do it, which kind of puts a sour taste in people's mouths. But you should feel comfortable enough to brag about being number one in the bloody country.
I don't even like being in my own videos. I've had to do one last week, and my videographer said, Suzanne, you're gracing us with your presence. I love having you in front of the camera. Love you doing a walk through this property. I just let the property speak for themselves. I never feature in my videos, but I'm getting asked more and more now to do it. And I've started a new little tips with Susie.
Oh.
Tips with Susie when you're buying.
Okay.
Don't ask the agent why the vendor's selling. We're not going
to
tell you the truth. We're playing the grey. We're not going to tell you that the person has run off with the neighbour and they have to sell. My gosh, it's not going to happen. It's a good way to work out whether you should use that agent to sell your property, because if they answer that question, you should be thinking twice about that.
In some instances, the vendor might be fine to disclose.
Look, if they say, look, we're looking to downsize and it's something like that. But these buyers, generally buyers are asking, what's the lowest someone will take? Why are they selling?
Are they desperate?
They want to know lowest price. They're wanting to know motivation.
Well, how about the
take a long settlement?
Recent changes they're proposing to implement in Victoria, where you're going to have to disclose your reserve price?
Yeah, I don't understand that's going to work.
No.
I'm an auctioneer as well. I just don't understand how that's going to work.
No.
It seems crazy.
Let's watch
There's
this
got to be a
space.
better way to do that.
There has to be.
Yeah.
Without having to disclose sale prices, especially if I saw Imi Callister actually put up a really good spiel about this on Instagram. There were a lot of comments going back and forth, and she really stood her ground. And because some people genuinely don't want to disclose the sale price, and that should be their prerogative. You know, what if they've got DV, you know, and they're having to escape, or there's family law proceedings, whatever the case may be. Like, there are some really serious reasons why people might need to sell and keep some of that stuff confidential. So hopefully for our Victorian counterparts, we hope that some common sense prevails. But, you know, it's a matter of time before something similar comes up to New South Wales.
It should be, to me, though, all these rules should be Australia-wide. You know, it's just crazy having everything just different in each state. It's what's the point? Why are we doing that?
Yeah. It makes
so
things
much
very
easier for
confusing.
everybody to understand how things work. I mean, Queensland, you don't have to give a guide at all. I inquired on something up last week, you know, don't have to give you a guide. Okay, no worries. Yeah, understand that's the rule up there. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Okay, Suze. So as a female in this industry, have you experienced anything that you're comfortable sharing, whether that be, you know, some remarks, some comments about appearance, uncomfortable moments in the workplace, or even out in inspections or trying to get a listing or whatever? Do you feel like being a female in certain circumstances has hindered any of that process?
Look, I think it can be very dangerous being a real estate agent, female real estate agent. I've had a situation a few years ago where I had a stalker who was jailed. The police had received complaints from someone else in the St George area that was being stalked by this guy. I was being stalked by this guy. And unfortunately, the police at the time didn't take it seriously. The guy has now since passed away in jail. But my testimony, he was trying to lure me to his property, and I thought he had anxiety. So he would ring me, but I thought I was in a vacant block of units where I was selling an apartment building. There was a display suite at the front, and he was always saying that he couldn't attend the display suite. So I thought he had anxiety. I do think you have to be really careful. I am very, very wary after that situation, and my testimony helped. It
put him away.
It helped put him away, and I'm very wary about when a buyer says to me, "Is the property vacant?" I say, "Why are you asking that?" I could probably be a little bit like, "Why are you asking that? What do you mean?"
Got a bit of PTSD
and in America,
from it.
we see that this is a growing problem with female real estate agents.
Okay.
With all sorts of assaults. So I do have systems in place. I generally always go somewhere with somebody. They ring me if I'm not back. But I do think you have to be very careful. But when a male says to me, you know, why, you know, is the property vacant? You know, why can't you meet me on your own at this time of night? I'm very wary about what's going on.
Have to stay vigilant.
Actually, only last night I was sitting at home and I had a phone call on speaker, and the guy said, "I miss you." And sorry, you missed my call? What do you mean I miss you? No, I like you and I miss you. I said, "I think you've got the wrong person," and I just hung up on him and I blocked the call.
Wow.
So it's not the several years ago really put the fear of God into me, and I'm very careful. So I do think female real estate agents, tell me what other profession you're going to potentially an empty property on your own.
Exactly.
What other profession?
No.
So
none.
if you're getting asked those questions, if someone says, "Is the property vacant or is it empty?" my standard answer is, "No, the family come and go." And I say, "Why are you asking that? What do you mean?" Now, sometimes it can be harmless, like they just want to know, does that mean we can have an appointment at any time?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it could be harmless, but it's never harmless to me. I've also had death threats on selling a building where I wouldn't hand another developer a set of plans for a building I was selling. Those plans were not available on any website, and I wouldn't give him the plan. So I had death threats for a couple of months.
Wow.
So you do have to be very careful.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty tough person. So if someone says something to me that I find inappropriate, I'm just going to take them on straight away. They're going to there's no filter coming from Susie. No. It's going to be.
They're going to feel your wrath.
That hard, brutal honesty and that Simba, they're going to feel it right in their face.
Yeah.
Because I don't like rude people either. You know, I don't think it's inappropriate.
Well, I think you've covered off my next question about horror stories because they're pretty horrific.
That's been dreadful.
But if you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
Oh, probably a solicitor like you.
Really?
Yeah, that's probably my parents wanted me to be a solicitor. And I'm still big on, I'm big on the law. I was a trainer with the Real Estate Institute for many years. I was a trainer at Guy Mead Tay for many years. A lot of my competitors, I taught them. But I'm big on following the letter of the law and ask my team. They think I'm a Nazi. So, that's probably what I would have done.
Oh, I could see you being a litigator. Definitely. Do you think you would have done anything differently looking back on the career you've had so far?
Not one thing.
Really?
No, I don't really. If someone asks me what fears I have, I don't have fear. I'm not a person that has fear. I'm not a person that ever thought, dreamt I'm going to get married one day. I never had those sort of.
Yeah.
It's never me.
We haven't gotten married.
But I'm quite fearless, I think.
Okay.
I just.
So then what advice?
No regrets.
So then what advice would you give to people coming into the industry, whether that be male or female?
Just, it's hard work. It is not 9 to 5. It's hard work. Do the right thing. Keep your head down. Don't worry about driving around fancy cars and shiny shoes and slicked hair and sitting at cafes drinking coffee all day. That's not selling real estate. That's just not real estate. That is not real. You will not do well if that's what you think real estate's all about. It's hard work. It's grinding. It's looking when your campaign's not working, what you can do to turn it around. It's making your owners feel comfortable. It's keeping them up to date constantly and working out how to change their life for the better, because that's what you're employed to do. So it's a hard job. So just stay in your lane. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Don't have regrets. Make mistakes. Be accountable for it. I can't stand people that lie to me. Can't stand it. Can't stand people that will not be accountable for their actions.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. That's the things that I raise my boys with. You make a mistake, you work out how you're going to fix it and own up and be accountable for it.
Yeah.
Don't try to hide. No, don't do it.
No. So obviously you've reached, you're number one in the country. So you've reached a level of success, and with that, obviously, there is a financial benefit to that. So what has been your biggest splurge?
Probably my car. But look, I just finished saying about driving around in fancy cars, right? But no, look, I drive around in a hybrid Corolla most of the time.
Okay.
I do have a beautiful car, but anyone that knows me knows I love cars. When I was a young girl, I bought John Simon's Aussie Home Loans. I bought his 325 IS BMW from his house at Strathfield. I was in my early 20s. I love fast cars.
Okay,
I always have.
So what car is your fast car?
I have an AMG GTR racetrack car, but I take my car to car shows. It's my baby.
It's a nice
wash
car.
it.
I've seen photos.
I take it out on a Sunday. It's my Batmobile. I love it.
Yeah. Got personalised
I would like a
plates on it.
GT3 RS Porsche though.
Okay.
I would like that. It is just an aspiration.
It's a goal.
It is a goal.
Work towards it.
Yeah, it's a goal.
You deserve it.
But it's not. I don't feel that I need to drive around in the car, A lot of people say, wow, Suzanne, you're so successful and you drive around a Corolla. We thought you'd have a BMW or a Mercedes, they say. How
and
funny
you're like,
is
yeah,
that?
the Merc's back home.
It's under the blankie in the garage. That's what I say. Because it is.
She's resting. Okay, so what handbag do you normally carry?
Look, you know what? That was in the boot of my car, the bag I bought in today.
What is it?
Because I've had a bit of a cough, as I said to you, so I just needed my cough lollies and my tissues. I don't actually take a handbag anywhere. I'm known just to have the phone in my hand at all times. Okay. Restaurant, phone,
so what are you wearing today?
Camilla. I love Camilla.
Love Camilla. And how about that watch? It's blinding me.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so...
We're bragging.
Andrew Cooley, my gorgeous auctioneer, helped me obtain this watch.
Okay.
Because there's quite a long waiting list. Thank you so much, Andrew. And I do love it.
Yes, it's very nice.
Yeah, I do love it.
What's the time, Suze?
It does. Guess what?
What?
It's not right. I've got to go to my phone to find the time.
Find the time.
How funny.
That's so good.
But yeah, my husband says, "Oh, that looks nice." I said, "Yeah, it costs more than a wedding dress." So it bloody want to. That's what I say to him.
All right, let's just do some rapid fire to wrap up. Chocolate, fridge or pantry?
Fridge.
Thank you. Sweet, salty or savoury?
All of them.
Your favourite wine?
Can I say champagne?
Yeah.
No?
You can say champagne.
Champagne's my
I guess.
favourite.
Any particular brand?
I like, no, really, look, I'm not a snob on those sort of things.
Okay.
My husband will be laughing at me because if he tries to bring me a bottle that's $10, I'll tell him to absolutely take it away. But I just said I'm not a wine
You're
snob.
not a wine
Look,
snob.
I don't need the best of the best, but I certainly don't want the cheaper the cheapest.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm
How
not too
about
much
a
of a snob.
cocktail?
Margarita.
Yeah.
I love tequila.
Oh, okay.
Tequila and champagne, they're my drinks.
They're your drinks. Good to know. Where's your favourite place to go overseas?
You know, I've been overseas once in 20 years.
Wow.
My husband is not much of a flyer.
Okay.
And
Leave him home.
I know. I'm going to do some more travel with my younger son.
Okay.
So
Well, what's on your bucket list?
probably Croatia. Yeah.
Is that for family reasons?
Greece, Croatia. No, my heritage is Maltese. I went to Malta in 2016. You know, I love Australia. I love Byron Bay. I love the east coast of Australia, the south coast. I have a house down the south coast. I travelled Australia when I was in my early 20s for 9 months.
Wow.
Slept in the back of a four-wheel drive for 9 months. I actually prefer travel in Australia than travelling overseas.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
What's so what are you listening to? You mentioned The Killers. Is that what your go-to is?
Yeah, dude, I like Rufus. I like,
Oh, you're a cool mum.
I like all sorts of music, but I'm not Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé or anything like that. No, I'm sorry. No, I am,
And where's your favourite restaurant?
Guilo at Mollymook.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sort of street Asian fusion street food, amazing food.
And how about if we were in the Shire? Where would you be recommending?
Yeah, so we're in the Shire. I'm actually going to say sea level or hurricanes.
Oh, okay.
I love a steak, but even at hurricanes, they've got amazing other food. And I always love sea level. The service is amazing.
And the outlook
Food's
is so
great.
nice. Yeah.
Position's just fantastic. So relaxing.
So relaxing.
Yeah.
Well, Suze, I've loved having you.
Oh, thank you so
you so much
much.
for having us here.
Thanks for having me.
You know, in this
What a
beautiful apartment.
What a place.
Let's give it a spiel. 3 bedrooms, 3-car garage. There's a lift inside.
Yeah.
And look at the beach.
So nominated for several awards. Builders are the developers here as well. So there's 2
which
developers,
we
but
met.
one of them's the builder.
Yep.
You met him. They're up in the penthouse. Amazing people to work for. We have 3-car garaging. This is 180 square metres net internal. Amazing acoustics. Window and door sections are gorgeous. Triple car garaging. We have our own internal lift. Just a beautiful building.
It really is a beautiful place.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
Thank you for letting us film here today.
Oh,
and
thank you for
you
having
for
me.
taking time out of your day to appear on We Are the Table.
Love everything about you, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.